Welcome back to, this.
Yeah,
So it's time to see the ending of one other timeline.
Yes.
Yep.
Very good too.
And what a timeline it'll be.
Escape from
the ruins.
But we just got here.
Wario has a bit of ADD and can't quite keep focus with it.
Oh, what are those specific tiles?
Don't worry, Teo. You're about to see.
This is the
Okay.
timeline where the mooks didn't properly do their morning stretches before invading the castle.
Weebs. By now, I think you should know that the parallel universe theory means that just by doing a very meaningless choice, but just by deciding what to eat one day, you can alter irreparably the course of your history.
Yeah, don't worry. I've seen Red Dwarf. I've seen Doctor Who. I know how it works.
Well, it goes a bit beyond that. It goes a bit before that, like with stuff like the Twilight Zone or I forgot. There was this one show Linkara mentioned during his Exiles retrospective. There was this one show where it's similar to Quantum Leap in a sense, but you had some people, a group of people, jumping from alternate universe to alternate universe because they were stranded from our Earth, and they were finding themselves in different versions of Earth that had one major event changed, and they needed to find a way to get back home, basically. I forgot what it was basically called.
I think one example I liked was in Futurama's take when there was literally an alternate dimension where coin flip results were reversed. That caused major change in events here and there.
It's similar also, it kind of similar to the pre-crime entire modus operandi in the Minority Report movie. As much as the explanation that they give with the ball falling is pretentious as fuck, it does kind of make sense in the context of the fact that the way even something like an object fall determines the course of action of a timeline. It does. The most counter argument that has been seen, as someone else like Spoonie mentioned, is the fact that this theory itself, one would possibly say that your fate is determined no matter what you do. Therefore, it will supposedly remove the option of freedom for humanity or something. And second, the major point that some stories would do in order to counter this is the fact that most changed timeline as a result of this deteriorate very quickly for one reason or the other. I'm sort of in the middle in terms of that. I'm fine with a potentially infinite alternate universes, but at the same time I can understand if at some point you want to eliminate one or two of them for convenience sake, which is kind of what happens with the Marvel comics. When the Ultimate Universe was not any more convenient to them, they just dumped it in the trash.
Anyway, the basic gist of it is that you press a switch and those blocks change position.
The switch. It's
Yeah.
weird because we had encountered them in other levels, but this one have this dragon shape thingy.
Yeah, the developers were feeling visually creative that day. I don't know what to tell you.
When weren't they with this game?
It's part of it being very Japanese.
You know, I actually pitched the idea for a level.
Yeah, it's it does have some Japanese elements and stuff like that, but I do appreciate the fact that it keeps them more. It also has a lot of cartooniness that is very reminiscent of something that from the West. Whereas, like I've said, one of my problems with Wario Land 4, fortunately, Shake It took care of that, brought it back to the balance that this game has. My problem with Wario Land 4 is that it went a bit too far in the Japanese direction, to the point where the bosses were basically inspired by Japanese folklore, and that's fine. But what
I mean is that instead of a weird aspect, what is called the widget type of gaming, something like, for example, Parodius would do. The fact that you found yourself in this weird, surreal situation that you just know it's something that Japanese game developer would do. The WarioWare games are more prevalent with that, but I can start seeing some elements starting here as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, You know what? I pitched the level actually to Nintendo
Did you now?
regarding this game. I pitched the level where if I flick a switch at just the right moment, my stored collection of fats would rise from the ground like gas and choke all of the minions to death.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, Nintendo felt that maybe we shouldn't show choking in a Nintendo game. Which
That's
is
funny,
ironic
because they show choking all the time.
What do you mean by choking? The Mario spin-offs? Or... Yeah,
We found a... Look at that, guys! We found a boss door in
Wait,
here.
what? But they
What?
didn't say that.
Oh.
That's weird.
Universes are weird.
Oh.
Try again.
Uh,
Oh
Oh, snap.
no! My pet fish has grown and is attacking me!
someone call Liam Neeson to ask for a bigger fish.
It will Liam
Oh.
Neeson. Hang on, if it were a giant fish and we were Liam Neeson, should we be swimming away with you and McGregor
That's just rude.
and an annoying CGI creature?
That's a big fish, I guess.
Oops.
I mean, I would say that that's a lot of fish, but it wouldn't work. 'Cause it's only one fish.
Yeah. But okay, the point is, it's a dumb comedic attempt at a comedic line delivered by Matthew Broderick. There you go.
Well, yeah. As
He
There we
had
go.
better work in
So how
other
do you?
films.
So how do you
Godzilla
actually
was
beat?
not one of them.
So how do you beat
No
actually
suspected
the
gadget.
anglerfish boss?
I'm about to demonstrate. It's actually very simple too. I mean, look at it there. Where would the weak point be?
Well, of course. No. It's just like a Zelda game. It's the eye, of course.
There you go.
No, but yeah, I can see that. So
Just
you need to take advantage of the currents, I guess.
no. Just make sure you're under him when he's going down. That's literally it.
Oh no! Oh no! I'm sorry. I got confused because I thought that the columns immersed in the waters were instead like the currents that you find in some other water levels that obligatory transports you here and there.
There you go.
Yeah. This fish definitely has Pac-Man fever.
So yeah, as you can see now we have to try our best to take a risk and try to hit him while he's lunging. So this is the hardest hit, obviously.
Yeah, I can see that.
There we go.
There we go. Oh,
Oh, that's a dead fish, alright.
but we didn't find the treasure.
Risky Bulls has as much chance of beating me as a Doraemon game coming to the west.
Right.
Well, actually, there have been. Haven't there been Doraemon games that have come to the West? I mean, not most of them are in Japan exclusive. I'm aware of that, but I think they were.
It's problem with licensing. I don't remember.
I was
which
also
was
saying that apparently there's a Doraemon game coming to the west later this year.
Oh, okay.
It's the story of a season. It's basically an Harvest Moon clone, if I recall.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Harvest Moon games do alright round in the west, I think.
Yeah. That's why an indie like Stardew Valley was successful.
There we go.
But you didn't get the treasure.
Well, Theo, but on the bright side, now it will bring me back to the main campaign as a result of that. But yeah, let's go back and get the treasure and actually complete the proper timeline with the right exit this time.
I am not leaving this room without my special treasure.
So when you get down to it, guys, the final epic conclusion in some alternate dimensions for Wario could be that against the fish.
It's interesting, like, it's actually quite interesting that they bothered to create an extra boss as the alternate exit, and all for the purpose of bringing this back into the main campaign. So, yeah.
They were really thinking outside the box with this one.
Behold the power.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I prefer this game over free, even though most people tend to prefer free. Like this game has
Is
some.
Freeze the one with the princess, or is that 4?
No.
The free is the one with the clown.
Yeah,
thing.
basically.
When I say princess, I'm talking about Princess Shokora, so not the Princess of Shake It.
No. That's Ford. That's your thinking, Jova.
Okay, yeah.
Wario Land 3 basically takes the gameplay of this game, and that's basically it for the most part. It adds new power-ups and shit, but the gameplay is essentially the same as this one, which is no problem, of course, because the gameplay is already pretty much very well refined here anyway, so by all means keep using it. The problem is, all of the creative level structure and overall branching storylines that this game has is completely gone in favor of a more traditional Super Mario World style world map where there's only one way in and one way out. And don't get me wrong, on its own merits, that's just fine. It's just that after a game like this that is so ambitious and creative with it, it feels like it's such a step down. You know, especially considering it's a Game Boy Color exclusive, which means it doesn't have to, restrain itself to make sure it can run on the original Game Boy. So they could have taken full advantage of the Game Boy Color, like say Pokemon Crystal did, or something like that. It's such a step down in terms of gameplay content. Okay, all right, this one is hard.
In terms of why people may like Wario Land 3 better. But there is the old saying that just because something is unique doesn't always make it better.
True, but
see what the treasure is.
Well, it's not so much. It's not in terms of the uniqueness. Is just a bonus, Joe. My primary argument.
Lightning bolt.
Yes, Zeus left it here. My primary argument is not so much in terms of that. It's just the fact that the branching storylines gives this game so much replay value and gives the game such a unique identity that makes it stand out all the more. Whereas Wario Land 3 scales it back to a very...
I don't know what the reception was, but is it possible that some people actually...
People loved this game back in the day, Teo. I assure you, it was not a matter of reception.
That's why I asked.
No. People loved Wario Land 2 back in the day. Even they still do, if I remember correctly. But it's weird. Like my guess is they wanted to focus more on the levels. Because to be fair, there are some. The trade-off is that the levels and the level design in general of Wario Land 3 has a bit more expansion and a bit more. How should I put it? A bit more focus, I guess I could say. Like in the sense that it's not.
I think maybe that's why people like Wario Land 3
We also
better.
noticed that, for example, one of the previous divergence in the timeline was a bit pointless and with not so much creativeness in the levels. But I don't think that would have been, a game breaker thing.
Remind me. Does death have more of a punishment again in Wario Land?
No. It's the same thing. The gameplay in Wario Land 3 is the same as this one, basically.
No. What I mean is, are there actually lives again?
No, that's what I'm saying, Joe. It's literally the exact same gameplay. The same rules apply.
Oh,
well, it's not entirely the same since, you don't have the branching paths and.
No, okay, fine. The overall gameplay engine is the same, aka the same rules apply. Wario still immortal. Like even the sprites are still basically just the same, just refined. But it's clearly a sequel to this game in a lot of ways, Jovi. I can tell you, it's basically the same game, but with a different structure, basically.
There are no sections on the development on the wiki articles about Wario Land 3, so I don't know what was the thought process of Nintendo at that time.
I don't think there's that much info that the developers interviewed for these games back in the day.
I would have been interested if they said.
Oh no, I will, of course.
We wanted to do this or not, or why we wanted to do it.
My main thing is that okay, fine. You want to make the levels less exploring and a bit more focused, with more typical platforming games. Okay, cool, but at the same time, I kind of really wish we could have still had the incredible branching storyline and as a result, Wario Land 3 is actually a shorter game because of it, even. And to limit the game to such a conventional structure when this game, despite still being technically an original Game Boy game, going all out and going so ambitious with it just feels like a step backwards. It's just one of those cases where don't get me wrong, Wario Land 3 is a great game. I'm not in any way trying to say that you shouldn't play it or that it's a bad game. No, not at all. It's just that I've always felt like it was a bit of a step down from this one. I mean, it has prettier graphics. And it does have some nice little new ideas in terms of the new power-ups and some level gimmicks. There you go, Taylor. Here's the actual eggs that you were supposed to use.
Oh, there we go.
However, like the more conventional structure, I would argue, made it a bit more derivative, especially and compared to something like this, which was so ambitious for its time. It just feels like it's like, let me put it like this. It's like okay, let me put it like this. It's like if after Ocarina of Time, we went back to the Zelda 2 structure. You know, like it's it just feels like a step backwards, and it doesn't really.
Yeah, I can see that what you're talking about.
I mean, why not have all those new things while keeping the cool elements of this game? You know, like that would be a true.
Maybe hold on. How much gap in time there was between Wario Land 2 and 3? Let me check.
Probably like about 2 years, maybe, because this game came out on the Game Boy Color.
So it wasn't even a case where it may have been rushed.
I think it was. I think it came out like in 2000.
2 years. Oh, 2000. Yeah, I can see that. The 2000. Well, this one was 1998.
Yeah. So and considering it's a Game Boy Color game, it shouldn't have taken that long to make.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just chalk it up to maybe maybe back then, you know, Game Boy development was tougher, so possibly they didn't want to.
Maybe the team felt as if they couldn't.
Captured syrup. What? Captured syrup?
Captured.
Wait, I captured syrup already?
No. You want to capture her for the mission.
Yes, but it said it didn't pass tense.
Well, okay. Let me use this example. I just thought of an example that is somewhat comparable. Somewhat. A lot of people complain about Beyond Two Souls being literally a completely straight linear game where the choices don't matter, which again destroyed the quote-unquote appeal of Heavy Rain, the previous game. That's kind of how I feel similarly to Wario Land 3, in the sense that like Wario Land 2's branching storylines gave it so much replayability and gave us so many different areas to visit that made it so cool. And for the sequel to abandon that, and it just feels like a step backwards. Like
From what we have seen, though, just because you give a game a lot of choices doesn't mean it's always going to be good. Like
what I'm guessing, what I'm also guessing, maybe is it a case where the Roman team thought they had done pretty much all they could think of in terms of branching things. So for the sequel, instead they wanted to stay more contained because they thought they couldn't add that much at the same time.
I guess
that
maybe
could be it, especially considering how Wario Land 3 has quite a bit of a.
It's similar to the reason why Insomniac didn't want to make any more Spyro games after 3. Despite the fact that, according to Universal, their contract was a bit more elastic than the one Naughty Dog did for Crash.
It's not even. I guess it can be, but it's just one of those things where. I guess it's cool. It's just that it was. I guess I'll take. It didn't change the fact that the villain of Wario Land 3 was fucking lame. If you ask me.
Yeah, like seriously, why they did Captain? Okay, I guess maybe they thought they'd done all they could with Captain Syrup. Then again, it shows that was not the case.
That one to me is a bit bullshit in a sense, but we. Oh, there's the already.
That's one thing I appreciate about Shake It, because Shake It brought back Syrup.
This
Although
was
not
around
quite
the
in the
time.
antagonistic role, sadly.
Well, there's baby steps. At the very least, she was there.
This was around the time where Bowser was being cemented as Mario arch nemesis, and so the other major Nintendo franchises were establishing themselves by having their protagonist having an arch rival of sorts. So Wario had no excuses to abandon Syrup for that role for this series. It didn't help,
she was actually a female antagonist.
It didn't help that the WarioWare series was about to come out, and that one didn't even bother with having a proper antagonist. So.
Pedro.
Yes, Tibbs.
What is this?
What do you mean? Wario?
Oh, it's a whale.
What do you mean Wario Land Shaker? I thought you meant Wario Land the Shaker.
Yeah.
Waves,
we
yes,
get it,
Waves, we know.
Yeah.
Like, Europe changes the titles for some... What the...
Syrup was captured!
I thought I was doing the capturing.
Syrup was captured by
a DeviantArt poster.
This thing.
Don't tell me I have to save that bitch's ass.
Basically, it's a bubble-like thing.
Fucking bubbles!
I don't even understand what the hell this thing is and where it came from, but it did capture syrup, so let's save her.
Oh no! I get it. It's like those DVD screensavers. Eventually, it will reach to a point where you can fit entirely in the corner.
And as you can see, it actually, for the third hit, it blends in with the fake ones. So make sure you don't lose track of where the real one is, otherwise you're fucked. There you go.
Oh no, not the farting power.
No, it's because it has a leak.
Yeah, deflating.
Farting's my thing.
Yay, I guess. So in this timeline, Syrup got captured like an idiot by the Atlantian bubble monster.
Yes.
Again.
The
Well,
Great
this
Cat
is embarrassing.
defeated by bubble. No comment, I see.
Like for example, just the idea that you can literally go into a different.
Embarrassing, enough said.
4.
There you go, very good, Whips. For example, the idea that you can literally go into an alternate storyline, just if you just leave Wario sleeping. You know, that's such a cool and creative idea. And it's that kind of creativity that I really love about this game. That kind of weird but still awesome ideas that really ending.
Oh,
Take that.
ow!
That's a big wolf.
You deserve it. And you do.
Where's the gold, though?
Hold on, Theo. Syrup is blasting off again.
Oh, this time in a different direction with one of our soldiers.
Yeah,
Poor
you
bastard.
see,
What the hell? You saved me just to kick me!
There we go.
Well, first of all, you deserved it, and second of all, divide and conquer. That's my tactic against the enemy.
Alright, time to bring the treasures back home again.
Well, in this case, more so divide. I mean, who's want to conquer a bunch of idiotic media?
There
Oh,
you go.
cool. It reflects the stages when you're being.
Yep. Well, it always does. It always does, Tail. Remember, the rolling credits of the Conquer the Castle storyline didn't even have Wario moving around. It just showed the.
No. But it did show, for example, the stages that you pass through, the normal, quote unquote, the timeline. Instead, here it's the ones where you've been specifically for this branch.
And
That's
that,
nice.
ladies and gentlemen, is how you balance a bag of money on your head while swimming up the water.
Wario has to be super strong in order to carry those to the surface. They must weight a lot.
If you don't see my amazing masters, look at them.
Don't worry, Tail. Remember, this is the Mario universe where water pressure doesn't exist. So.
That too. Also, Dweebs, maybe he's like the kingpin. He looks fat, but in reality, he's all muscles.
Yeah. I'm the kingpin, except I don't get arrested every
How exactly does he balance? I'm more baffled by how he's balancing the 3 bags of money on his fucking head.
The amazing
from my recollection,
equilibrium of
wasn't it-
sprites.
You see,
And while we're asking questions, wasn't there more than just free
No,
bags
they
of money
were
that
free.
stolen?
Remember, the henchman got a sack for each.
Each of the 3 henchmen took 1 bag of money. Remember, that's how it was at the beginning.
I feel like there was more taken
You
in
see, they
one
were-
of the storylines.
I don't. No, wait, I have an explanation. You see, they were planning to take more money, but my super secret alarm system kicked in. They must have had a sixth sense about that and decided to get the fuck out of there.
Well, Jova, look forward to the
course.
look forward to the game's real ending, because that ending will far make up for any possible missing bags that you're thinking.
Of course, wait. Let me guess. It's unlocked by doing all the alternate routes.
Yes, when you complete the game 100%, you unlock 1 final level that gives you the game's real ending.
Mind you, in terms of, what's a bit disappointing to me is that in terms of main Wario Land games, not the Wario in general, just the land one, I haven't had a new one since 2008.
Yeah,
Seriously, what the hell?
Yeah, that's another thing in terms of like the rewarding stuff, like the clear good rewards that you get from 100% in the game. Whereas Wario Land 3 doesn't really have that as well. So. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Wario Land
And
4.
there we are.
Oh, those are the Game Boy Advance, where the handheld games are either really, really good or...
Well, that depended also because a couple of times, even so, surprisingly enough, some of the ports like Tekken Advance were actually really good.
Yes, it's just, well, It's just,
Well,
yeah,
that's the downside of having a that's the downside of having a console with so many titles. Some of them are bound to be bad ports. So
Special thanks Nintendo RD1 and the Super Mario Club.
join the Super Mario Club
I
today,
remember when that
Wario.
was a thing.
No. I'd rather eat Captain Syrup instead of joining that Posers Club.
I wonder how
really?
Wario would work in a Punch Out game.
Yes,
I mean,
but he's...
he has combat abilities, but still relatively short, stubby arms.
And so
To make up for them.
And so Wario I got back to my castle, put my money back into my super secret vault underneath the cellar. Oh crap! I just gave away the location. The end.
Let me guess, you're gonna put it home under your mattress next time.
Wrong.
It's the safest place.
Wrong. What do you think I am, Mr. Krabs? No.
80%. We're not that far.
I'm going to hide my money where you least expect it. In Mario's bed.
Much
There we go.
surprised.
2, 4, 6.
Let us say no. That is actually Mario's money.
So yeah, we still have
We
two-
only have two other timelines to clear.
Exactly. The game is now 80% complete. So tune in next time, everybody, where we start the factory storyline.
Alright,
See ya.
see ya.
See ya.